All right. Uh, Getting a lot of questions in Twitch chat about Evo, so I figured let's just put it into a one quick talk and throw it up on YouTube as well because I'm sure you guys have some questions. Although I'm sure the leaks are going insane, this will be the most leaked patch of all time because this is the first time we don't have a roadmap. So everything that's in this is incredibly new. Nobody had any idea what was coming and what wasn't. So yeah, this is very interesting. Let's start out with the patch notes because they're public and we're able to show those. The testing and feedback is clearing the air event, stability and bug fixes, and industrial mining and salvage missions. Not ready for testing and feedback, which is just goofy and weird to do. Lots of known issues, of course. But let's start out with the clearing the air event. I'll just read the first paragraph because I think it's going to sound very familiar to a lot of you guys. Which, yeah, we'll say it after. For weeks, Levski inhabitants and visitors have been getting sick with mysterious disease that quickly became known as the people's ailment, with symptoms like coughing, fatigue, chest pain, painful lesions in the skull, spine, or other bones. It wasn't until an autopsy was performed following the death of a maintenance engineer, Samuel Molina, who, by the way, is a dev at the company. One of the devs that I've talked to behind the scenes a lot. He's super nice. And he was the guy who did the initial distribution of minables, harvestables, all that stuff. So there was so much talk early on about, hey, we got to cluster those ores together more. And he's like, but I can't because tech. And he's like, I want to, but I can't. And now look at where we are with hopefully the new planet tech that's coming. So very, very cool. I think he's on to other stuff now, but he was at the time. So that name is after a developer and one that's actually popped in the channel quite a bit in the past. That was that the cause was discovered. A fungal infection from a new strain of mold growing in faulty air filters purchased from Geisen Inc. I don't know who Geisen Inc. is. It's called the Molina mold, which is actually hilarious. So what does this sound like? This sounds like, oh my god, the NPCs, they're now like permanently dying. I don't understand. But only the NPCs, not the players. You don't cough. Nothing happens to you, the player. Nope. This affects only the NPCs. This sounds like the regen crisis. But yes, this also sounds like municipal works are coming much sooner than expected, potentially, unless they really drag this thing out. Really drag it out. This sounds like it will lead right into municipal works. Which might mean instancing sooner than expected. Yeah. So you can make some assumptions out of this. For me, I'm desperately gonna try not to be negative. There's some things that are really, feedback that, hey, this is annoying, this sucks. That's not negative, that's feedback. We've already given this feedback. We've already given the feedback that these grand events that have literally no effect on the player and are used just to get you to get some reward feel empty and are not fun. So from a storyline, it's really upsetting that the company does not listen to any of us. I don't think I'm in the minority when I have that thing. On the other side, and that's the only negative thing I'm going to say, or try to say. The rest is going to be like, hey, feedback, this is not fun or whatever. And honestly, that's feedback and not fun. But I feel like the negative thing is I feel like they just don't listen, and I don't think they care. And they are so surface level in their decisions when it comes to stuff like this, because Regen Crisis was incredibly popular. The main one, which was Resource Drive, that was incredibly popular because the rewards were strong and they were worth grinding for. I think a lot of those skins are a lot of the skins that people use, and people wanted them because they were for a lot of ships, so they were for a lot of ships that people use. Whereas if the skin is for a ship and there's only one skin given out and it's for a ship that you don't use, you tend to care a lot less about it, right? So resource drive, the drive was not the story. Nobody gave a shit about the story. The drive was the reward, right? And the reward was really good. We don't know what the rewards are yet for this event, but we know there are 12 of them. So there's a good chance that the rewards are similar. Okay? But again, it is very upsetting that it's super surface level. Resource drive was great on the numbers, but we don't care how it affected the player. We don't care if the player gave feedback that, the story was shit and so on and so forth. We're just going to do the same thing. Now, on the flip side, how many of you thought that there was going to be a patch on January 9th, 2026 in EVO? And I believe, I'm just going to say it, this should be on PTU this weekend. There's no reason to hold it back. Right? I don't think any of us thought that we would have this patch. So if the way to do this patch is to change some letters around and basically make resource drive again and deliver a patch, is that bad of a thing? Probably not, right? So sick of events, let's make persistent game loops. I couldn't agree with you more, but this is the direction they're going for last year, and it sounds like this year, because again, they made so much more money. I agree with you, but I don't think that I don't know. I feel like they're just looking surface level numbers, and that's what it is. Okay, let's keep going. Antifungal treatments have been spreading unabated through Levski, causing more people to fall ill. However, the death toll is rising to double digits and is affecting... Oh, guys, 10 NPCs died. Who fucking cares? I don't know. Like, how many people do you kill on a given mission? Like, who cares? However, the death toll is rising to double digits. And guys, don't worry. The UEE is stepping in to help. All right? Under their guidance, Cure Life has been developing a targeted antifungal treatment, and Dyson Inc. has begun work on manufacturing replacement filters. To assist with the effort, contractors in Stanton are being hired to track down biological samples, deliver needed resources for both treatment and filters, and ship the finished results to Levski. Now, that's where I want to actually switch over to another game where I've been talking about cargo missions and how they really lack the purpose behind them. So we're going to switch over to EVE Online for a second, where, I'm kind of in the way here, but don't worry, guys. EVE Online actually has screens and menus that you can adjust. So, unlike our game. But this is just a level 2 mission, very, very simple. But I was doing these during vacation break, and I was just kind of like blown away with the simplicity, but I was doing these, but it didn't bother me that it's the exact same function that we have in EVE Online that we have in Star Citizen, in a way where this cargo, crates of tobacco, are worth nothing. They're not used for crafting. There's nothing to them. They're worth basically nothing in EVE Online, right? Similar to the cargo that's run in cargo missions in Star Citizen. They're worth very little. They're not worth pirating. Some things might be, but they're not worth pirating, right? A pirate comes across contracted cargo and it's a letdown. The reason I was less bothered by this is the contracted cargo in Star Citizen is crafting materials, is things that are used in other areas of the game, not contracted. So the value not making sense is all very weird, and they do their mental gymnastics to make it make sense with the, but it's stolen and people don't want to work in stolen stuff, and so on, right? And this to me works a lot better, where they tell you a tiny little story. Hey, do our favorite agents a favor. At this factory, the workers are getting upset that they're overworked. So bring them 5 crates of tobacco so they're happy. Bring them drugs, bring them things to just appease them so they keep working. It's all just written word, just like we have in Star Citizen. And I was like, oh, that's so cool, right? On top of that, you could see the fact that you get almost no money and all you get is loyalty points, which is like script kind of, and are used at a store to buy unique things, but like valuable things that are used. So that's a whole nother story. But let's just read. They have their own mini regen crisis, their own mini Molina mold in a tiny mission, and you're going there to resolve that issue. Right? So it's taking what we have in Star Citizen and shrinking it down to this, like, each mission is its own little mini crisis. And you are going to deal with that crisis in some way, shape, or form. There's another one where, like, a place needs seeds that grows food. So you bring the seeds there. In Star Citizen, you're bringing random material to places where it doesn't necessarily make sense. And this event, the Molina Mold event, is really, really good. Really good from that sense, but it's almost like too macro. So what isn't written here, which was very cool that I discovered myself, is there are 3 types of missions. There's transport, there's combat, and there's recovery. Okay? And this is the important information you need to know about the event, so pay attention. There are 3 tracks. You are not working for Nyx or Microtech or whoever. This is just solving this crisis. And you have 3 tracks that you could do it with. Technically 4. Let's say 4 tracks. You have your total at the top. So you just try and actually let's do this real quick. Resource drive chart. No, chart's a bad word. Just gonna type in resource drive Star Citizen. Here it is. Okay. So open this image right here. Bam. Let's use this as our example. There is a journal, and I looked at it. You have your transport mission here, you have your combat mission here, and you have your recovery missions here. All right? And then at the top, it's total. There are 3 rewards in each track, and there are 3 rewards in the total track. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You never have to do a combat mission if you don't want to. You never have to do a recovery mission if you don't want to, but you need other people to share with you if you want to complete those tracks. Okay? So, how it works is this. There are transport missions, there are combat missions, and there are recovery missions. And each one only works for its individual track. So, as you do transport missions, this will go up. Okay? But as you do any of these 3, this will go up. The total will go up, obviously. Now, here's where they did something that I think is not going to make people very happy. But at the same time, I think it was a good effort and a good thought. But I think it's going to make things confusing for people. So understand this. In order to 100% this thing, you have to get a total of 30,000 points up here in the total. But you also have to get, I would have to look at an image here. 1 second. Let me look at one. 10,000 in each track down here. Makes sense, right? Sounds fine? There's a catch. The mission type rewards are shareable. So the totals here match the total up here. These are shareable. The top is not. So you could complete all 3 tracks very quickly by playing with your org. What you cannot complete quickly is the total. You still personally have to deliver a total of 30,000 points. Now, I do not know all of the... Yes, the top was not shareable. I'll give you the numbers. All right. I shared with the boys 1 small cargo mission. I moved 40 material. I'll tell you what the material is in a second because that's the EVE Online thing. I did get a little distracted. I moved 40, okay? And I shared it with 2 people. And I got 615 points in transit. So it's not that much to get a lot. The largest mission was 5,000 SCU, and that there's no way you're going to do that without auto-loading on a Hull C. And you got to make sure you choose the right missions because there's ones that are going to cities and stuff. I think they have to adjust their missions a little bit and make sure they're going to the right places where it makes sense. I don't know if they're all dialed in at the moment. Also, all of these missions are listed in one spot. They're not segmented out into transport missions, collection missions, and defense missions. It's actually called defense, not recovery. And they're not in their own tab. They're just, you can see that they're defense missions or transport missions. But yeah. Or it's called defense, it's not called combat, I should say. Anyway, 615 points for transport for a 40 SCU tiny little trip. And I got 205 points in my total. That's 1/3. Right? Next mission I did by myself, I had 790 points up top because I got 615. Something like that. I got more than 615. And then I got 12,030 below in the transport section. So it allows you to complete the total with the mission type you like, but it allows you to share with the types that you don't to complete the other tracks. So for somebody who likes doing the combat missions, you could share your transport missions if you like doing transport missions. As an org, you can have people spread out all around the verse, constantly sharing missions. And you could choose to do the track yourself. So it's both a good thing, but it does appear like the grind is pretty heavy and long and arduous, and that's the feedback here. Number 1, the feedback is doing this in a PTU is really problematic. None of us are going to know if the rewards are working correctly because no one's going to do this grind by themselves, and no one's really going to be working together in a PTU to get this done. So it's going to be... I think this is the lesson that they did not learn from Resource Drive, right? And I think it's going to be a bit of a problem there. So that is the main feedback that everyone's giving, is this just looks like an insane grind. This is not fun. What we don't know, I think we're all assuming, given that there's a patch in January, is that they're going to do the monthly patch cycles again. This is a lot of points to earn in 1 month. And it's going to feel like it's weighted way too heavily towards orgs and really detrimental for somebody who's a solo to try to finish this. That's what I think everyone's feeling at the moment. But again, I did a really tiny mission, 615 points. How many of those missions do I need to get to 30,000? What's 30,000 divided by 615? 30,000 divided by 615 is 50 missions. 50. So if you're given a month to do 50 missions, that's cool if they all work. What I don't think that they realize is that pirates exist in this game, and a lot of the content is in Nyx. So this is going to be really, really challenging. I'm going to make a suggestion to all of you. The moment you get to Nyx, we don't know what the rewards are. The moment you get to Nyx, take a mission and fly to the mission location. And make sure that mission is not going in the direction of Nyx. Going to and from. Bounce between them to avoid any bubbles. Okay? Hey, Expat, we're talking Evo here, so I'm just thanking you for your raid real quick, but then I got to get back to it. Okay, so again, let's go back to those EVE Online missions where, hey, we're delivering cigarettes here to appease the workers. Well, in the new event, you're delivering mold samples from Levski to places like Microtech, where they're trying to learn what's going on and create a cure. You're bringing medical supplies from the cities in Stanton and like Everest Harbor, stuff like that, to Levski to deal with the issues that people are going through there. You're bringing filters from those places as well back to Levski to replace the filters and things like that. So like I was talking about those missions in EVE Online, where they just make a lot more sense. They have their like little mini crisis that you're solving. It feels really good. They're using the liquid containers for the mold, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because mold isn't a liquid, but those really cool looking liquid containers look very cool. They're yellow. They look awesome. And yeah, it was just very satisfying to transfer them. So the mission itself and the storyline behind the mission itself of the cargo transport side felt very, very good. CIG went exotic dancers, exactly. Also in the journal, there's a bunch of new things listed there. A lot of updates to harvestables, a lot of updates to I'd have to look at it, but yeah, there's a new one, which is odd, but is it new? Hunt for Frontier Fighters was listed there as well, and there was another CFP and I think it was an old one that wasn't taken out, but maybe it's representative of something. In the journal, there was something Hunt for Frontier Fighters, where please correct me if I'm wrong, because my memory is not the best. Where there was a track just for headhunters and a track for CFP. I think that's an old one. There's fundamentals of mining, but there's a little bit. I don't think there's any changes there. There's a cornerstone development's guide to maintenance for your engineering stuff. So I don't know how old that is, new that is, but those are just some of the new things that I saw there. Okay, feedback-wise, like Resource Drive and like the regen crisis, there is sounds in the locations that are meant to get you to be like, hey, what's going on here? There is constant coughing no matter where you are in Levski. It's horrible. It is 100% an audio bug. Like, you're hearing coughing in your hangar. You're hearing coughing inside your ship as if NPCs are inside your ship. It's like being in a Discord call with somebody who put their headset down and is just coughing constantly and doesn't have push to talk on. It's the worst thing ever. It's horrible. Okay? What is this? Money not the same. I wrote something that said money is not the same, and I don't know what that is. But yeah, I have no idea what that. Oh yes, now I remember that reference. Okay, I was like praising because I started out the event with, or the patch with 84 million in credits. So that word is starting money is not the same. I had 84 million credits, and I was like, oh, nice. That means that they're allowing us to buy all the ships we need to do testing, better testing in the PTUs, stuff like that. So I was like praising them in our group chat. And then the two other people that I was playing with were like, I started with 5 million. Everyone started with different money. So, all the LTP issues that we have with like random people getting 60,000 script when you lost yours. Oh yeah, that now just applies to money as well. So like LTP is a disaster, potentially. Like it's Evo, but this is a potential like really, really bad thing. Okay. But outside of that, the missions seem decent. Things, like again, I just did the transport ones to see if things were like how did sharing work and all that stuff, and I told you how sharing works. So yeah, that is that end of it. There is also the low light compensation, and I don't think that's listed anywhere here. But yeah, there you go. After 50 combat missions, you'll be good. So, but yeah, there's no mention of low light compensation at all. But that is added to some ships in the game. It's one of those things where they put it in, they don't list it at all in the testing feedback, nothing like that, because they're not ready for testing. It's a drastic difference. I think it's even stronger than the low light scopes. It was like, really, really strong. So that is that's a thing that's in the game now that people would like, for sure. There are like, other missions where, you're going to fight criminals and stuff like that. But again, this seems to be mostly focused around bug fixes. I was told that this patch, this potential fix is not the stinger. This is actually potentially a potential fix of fixing the QV inventories, which is a big thing. But it's really heavy towards this event. We know there's going to be a ship to sell. My negatives are it's very much, hey, this worked last year, let's do it again kind of thing. And, I think we as the players need to start demanding more, pushing towards towards 1.0 type stuff. And to me, this is not a 1.0. Oh, can you link me the sneak peek? I haven't seen the sneak peek. When did that come out? Oh, I guess the other thing is they learned their lesson from Resource Drive. None of the missions are starting in yesterday. Can you link the email to me or whatever so we can see it? Thank you. So here's the newsletter. I have not seen the sneak yet. Oh yeah, yesterday was Friday. Oh yeah, cargo version of the Apollo, right? Which is what everybody said was the thing that I never knew about. So there's a tractor beam inside the Apollo. Yeah, it's called the Hermes or something. Leakers know this, but I don't because I don't pay attention to this. What do I think of the doors? It's what the Apollo always should have been, probably. So, yeah. Good morning. So yeah. That's a thing, but I don't know.
You reacting?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm telling them about Evo. It's not really reacting.
Are you recording?
I am recording.
Oh.
It's fine. You're allowed to hug me. But yeah, I think that's really all that the patch is currently. Like people said that there's some I don't know. Oh, yes. I forgot about this. This is something I didn't get a chance to check out, but we'll share this with you anyway, unfortunately, without any of my input and how it feels, but it's something that we should check out the moment you guys get into the PTU. And that's what Zach posted here is There's some new gating of FPS actions and some ungating of others under the guise of making weapon swap issues and fake reloads less likely to occur. This is a band-aid, very clearly. This is not solving the root of the problem. This is fixing it with a band-aid, but hey, I'll take it. Weapons can now be unstowed and stowed while stowing and unstowing. Weapons can no longer be reloaded, fired while stowing. Reloaded or fired while stowing. Or unstowing. This lingers longer than I would like currently, but just to do with the animation lengths, okay? You can now break out of med pen animations after injecting. Any balance concern should be addressed by the above. You can sprint out of the med gun self-aim. So, like, if you, like, you know how, like, sometimes you go, and then you're, like, walking, and you're like, it's not working, like, I'm getting shot, you can now sprint out of it. Being a bit more tough on when you can do things, make sure the server doesn't get tripped up when frame rates are lower, should smooth things out. It has nothing to do with frame rates being lower. This happens on 30 FPS servers. This happens on again, we tell them all the time there's a much deeper root to this problem, but they definitely don't want to listen to it. Fortunately for ship combat pilots, you were able to break through to the developers many years ago to explain to them that, hey, there's something deeper here. FPS players don't seem to be able to get to at the moment yet, but there's definitely an issue that's bigger than this. But I'm glad that they're doing what they can to try to solve this. If you have ever med-penned, healed, swapped weapons, and aimed down sights and were about to shoot at a player or an NPC and your gun just disappeared to a thing that you swapped to like 10 minutes ago, this is the solution to that problem, right? Is it true there's NVGs for ships in Evo? Some of the ships, yeah, not all of them have it in. So I think they're like gradually bringing it in, and it'll be on every ship in the patch at some point, but not here. So yeah, a lot of fixes as well. Just don't know if they're real and working. You know, they just do this like cop-out potential fix thing, so you can't complain to them about putting in patch notes. If every fix is potential and they're never listed as fixed, did you fix anything? It's a very weird thing, and they just try to like do the easiest thing possible to not upset people instead of just like doing the right thing. Inventory, move all from legacy inventory screen, does not move all from the backpack. Let's see. What are some of the big ones? The Yormandi will now do damage. Bounty ship now counting as destroyed due to engineering components. Draco Lamox headlights don't work. Contested zone doors just randomly staying open. This is all doors everywhere, so hopefully that addresses everywhere. It happens at Hathor as well. Mining arm laser is offset on the rock. Okay. Ace pilots do not have any strip or metal in their inventory. That's a big one. Platino backpack loot not appearing. No wear degradation is applied to the interior cockpit glass. Who wants cockpit glass wear? Nobody wants that. We've been telling them for years that nobody wants that. There's a helmet bug fix. I don't know. I don't see anything like super strong here. No, I don't see anything crazy. Yeah, they just change everything to potential fix. It's a weird, goofy thing. Thank you, Spooner, for the sub. Sorry, this screen doesn't have any alerts on it. But yeah, so that's Evo. You're going to the gym today. I hope good. No, it says 80 fixes this time, so they probably saw that I made fun of the 140 fixes, so they just changed it to 80. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. It feels good. It feels good to get a patch in January. It feels awesome that there are mining and salvage missions. There are mining missions for hand mining. There are salvage missions that seem to have steps to them. There are mining missions that are very small to start, so there might be larger ones later. I think somebody responded to me in our Evo chat about that. Yeah, this was weird. The mining missions still require that you refine. I think it makes a lot more sense for mining missions to require the raw ore and not the refined ore. But yeah, that was, I was expecting raw ore there, like you were delivering to a refinery of some kind. Because again, to go back to our EVE Online type missions, that would just make sense. You know what I mean? So that's it needs to start making more sense. These narrative developers, I think, should take a little bit more time on that and a little bit less time on making these epic events where it only affects NPCs. So yeah. Is it fair to say the new event is basically an old reskin? Yes. But is it fair to say that we haven't had a patch in January like ever? So if they reskin something and deliver with some bug fixes in January, are you really that mad? I'm not. It's just they reskinned the worst event possible in terms of storyline and grind and all that stuff for the player, but it was probably the best for their numbers. So, yeah. If you delivered raw, you lose containers every time. It should empty your containers. You don't lose your containers of your ore bags when you deliver raw. You shouldn't. So, yeah, you might just because the game is bugged. Probably a stealth fix on duping and money and exploits. They'll never share those things. So, will this come with a wipe? Nobody knows. I think that the other issue here is actually, yeah, before we're done, the people who stayed and watched the whole video are going to get a little bit more info here. There are missions that pay 1 million. There are missions that pay 400,000. There are missions that pay 100,000. There are missions that pay 40,000 in this mission. Regardless if you wipe, if you're paying 1 million credits, everyone's going to be rich again and nothing's going to matter and everyone's going to be annoyed by the fact of how much money they make. It's like, oh my God. Didn't the economy dev say wipe? I'm sure he got in trouble because of exactly what you said there. He said the word wipe. He didn't tell you when. He said at some point in the future when we're confident that we have dealt with some of the exploits that we have, I think. In so many words, there's going to be a wipe at some point because everything broke, but that doesn't mean in 4.6. And not even fully certain, but now people like you just saw the word wipe and are like, wipe. Oh, there's a wipe. I should not play. I should not do this. I should not do that. Or, oh my God, there's a wipe coming. And I'm sure he got in trouble for it because I think that those are things that need to be communicated by people like either Jared or, it needs to be something that isn't just a post on a Spectrum post from a random developer, even if he is an economy dev. It should be something that's like, official. So I think that definitely wasn't official, and I can't imagine that he didn't get a talking to for that one, because I think it probably killed their numbers, and then they probably went, all right, yeah, we're gonna do a resource drive in the first month. But anyway, that's Eva. I think this video went on long enough, but big changes are you have to finish the entire track at the top, like your totals by yourself, but you're able to share the types of missions with other people. So you don't necessarily have to finish the event by doing missions that you don't want to do, but you better make some friends if you don't want to do them. So yeah. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.